Okay, so for the next little survival video, I realized what we got to do is actually start off by giving a definition of survival for a civilian because it's not the same. See, if you're in the military, you're a specific person trained in a specific way, in a specific situation, and critically, with a specific mission to achieve. So it's very different from the civilian. Now, on many of the channels, they say you've got to survive 72 hours. And I say, no, that's wrong. As a civilian, I put it to you that if your survival situation lasts for longer than half an hour, you've done something critically wrong. And here's why. The emergency might need to be dealt with for a minimum of 72 hours. That I agree with. But the survival part needs to be much faster. So, what is a survival situation for a civilian? Okay, here's an example. You're in a building, you're minding your own business, and all of a sudden somebody comes and says, hey, the building's on fire. Now, survival has only one response: get out. That's your response to survival situations. You've got to get out of it. You've got to stop it being a survival situation. Now, if it takes longer than half an hour to get out of a burning building, you're probably pretty crispy. So you failed already. Now, you might find that having gotten out of the burning building, there was a reason it was on fire that is still an emergency that must be dealt with. But the actual survival part is just the getting out. So my definition for survival for a civilian is that situation wherein if you do nothing at all, you probably will die. So clearly you've got to get out. That's your key thing. So all your thinking, all your planning, your gear even, is set around the ability to extract yourself as fast as possible from the survival situation and make it an emergency, because an emergency you can deal with, that we can manage. So in that sense, we are approaching survival as a civilian from a very different point of view. Now, in addition to this, I then said, well, if I can't use the military setups to work out what my kit should be, what my training should be, how do I figure out? And I realized that when it comes to skills, abilities, training, it doesn't matter. All of it's good. If you can get it, great, you've won. Not all of us can, of course, but any skill is going to be an improvement for you. Great. Okay, so it's the thinking and it's the kit that matters. And in order to figure out what the best kit would be, I went back to those people who still pretty much live, or at one time did live, survival as a means of living. So I started with the Bushman, I went to the Eskimo, then I went to the Native American and some of the South American tribes, and I discovered that there are certain things that no matter who they were, what they were in society, or where they were in the world, they carried those things. So that clearly is your absolute basic requirement. So we want to take those basics and apply them to the modern age. Then there were certain things which were clearly personal, things that mattered to the individual as part of survival, which we will get to as well. And thirdly, there was what you might call the geographic. So the kind of things that were pretty critical to an Eskimo didn't matter at all to the Bushman, whereas there were things that really mattered a great deal to the Bushman that didn't to the Eskimo because of the geography. So we got three categories to lay out wherein we can start talking about proper survival and what kind of kit makes for actual survival gear. Now, disclaimer very quickly, we're not talking bushcraft, we're not talking military survival, And we're not talking going out, travel, caravanning, camping, hiking, whatever. We're talking actual basic survival. And let's take this series from there.